Okay, here's a video on project gems to surface. And so every once in a while you come along a design where it's easier to just design the gem layout flat. And so here you can see that I have the design that I want. I did these three stones here and these three here, and then of course did a polar array. And then I would like those to conform to a surface. And so, um, you know, doing this a different way, like with gems on a curve, doesn't really lend itself to that. And also gem on surface, which we will have, but at the time of making this video, we don't have yet. Even still, it's easier to just work flat. And then you can come over to the gem menu, and we have project gems to surface, and we have pull gems to surface, which I'll cover in a separate video. And so we'll go ahead and select that, and it says select the gems, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then you can choose the placement method, whether or not you want the table on the surface, the girdle, or the queue-lit. I'm going to go for the girdle in this case, and then you hit enter, and then you select the surface, which is here, and boom, there it goes. Now what's interesting is we know the direction of the tables or the direction of the gems before you start the command, so I'm actually going to hit undo and undo this, because if I select this surface and click on normals, the direction, you'll see that it's facing in. And so that doesn't actually matter. You don't have to check this. We go ahead and look at which way the gems are facing. And so let me go ahead and select the gems again. And we'll run this again. And again, it's girdle. And then select the surface. And we go ahead and keep those pointed the way that they are. Now, if you wanted them opposite, then you would have to flip the gems over so that they're pointing the way that you want them to go. So just to illustrate that, I don't know why you'd want to do this, but here are the gems upside down. And so if we select those gems and click here, then girdle, and then select the surface, and there they go upside down. So we just felt it was easier because most of the time you put the gems the way you want them, and then rather than have to have you even think about the surface, once the gems are in the orientation that you want, then we project onto the surface, and it works out pretty good. Let me do another example here. Okay, so in this example, I have a signet ring that was built with our signet ring builder, which is almost done. It's looking really good, makes some nice signet rings. And I used gem on curve to place these gems on this curve. And so yes, you could project the curve onto the surface and then run gem on curve on there and so on. But you could build these gems anywhere in any shape, and then just get them out over the ring. And the nice thing is that you have the freedom to just go ahead and move it and see where you want it as far as how close to the top and the side and so on. So you can disregard the curve at that point. Now, if you run this, you have to run it in a viewport that makes sense for the project. In other words, you're not going to run it in this viewport and select the surfaces. It's not going to project onto the surface. Same goes with the perspective. If you try here, so we'll select these gems, go to the project to surface, and I'm going to choose girdle. and then it says, hey, select the surface, and then I click this surface, it'll say 7 gems failed to project because we weren't in the proper viewport. So this is the viewport where the gems can see the surface and project. So let's go ahead and I'm going to right click to run it again. And then when it says select surface, you'll see that it's picking this surface or this surface, okay? And this is the one that I want, and so when I click it, then it goes ahead and projects the gems. So that works out pretty good. All right. So that's project. Let me see if I have any other ideas for this. Okay, so here's another kind of atypical design where I don't think Gem on Curve would work that great, and I want to put gems around this bezel here. And so I did a kind of large, too small, large deal. And so I've obviously got it figured out, but I'm going to go ahead and go here and go to array, and from F4, and there's 9. And so that works out to go around like so. Okay, and then let's go ahead and select those gems and come back over to gem and project and girdle, and then we select the surface, which is right there, and up they go. And so there you go. And then once they're up here, this is the parent gem here. Okay, then we could come over to gem, and then we could always still tweak these. And it actually, the way that this works is it cannot have history after I forgot to select all of them. It cannot have history after it gets placed around here because this is not the original object. It's the one that got projected. And so, oops, I hit the wrong button. So let's go here and go here, but you can still go ahead and tweak them if you just select them all. And then we still maintain the north and south and east and west of the gems. And that way, they all go in the same direction. So there is that layout up around there as well. Okay, so that is project gems to surface.